Okay, so back to slides. For a change, I think very good presentation by Krishnan. So it essentially builds on what he was talking about. Same theme, marketing and tech, and how marketing is changing. So, a lot of us in marketing would be familiar with this quote by Drucker. So business has two functions, innovation and marketing is about knowing the customer. If you look at the state of marketing today, this is my assessment, 1 in 2 of the actual TG is being targeted. 1 in 10 leads, whether it's you look at leads or sort of customer walk-ins into a store and so on, is being converted. And about 1 in 5 is being fully monetized. Each one having a different threshold, and we'll talk about that, max spend threshold, converted into the maximum money that each one of us is able to spend. So just with the existing sort of base that's there, 1 in 100 of the target group, target audience is being fully monetized. So there's a significant opportunity to increase the opportunity space by 10 to 100x going forward, and we'll see how that can be done. We are all familiar with the sort of process, but just to reiterate, lead acquisition, leads end up as either customers or cold leads. Customers, essentially new, existing, and dormant. And the goal, how do you get the highest number of maximal monetized customers? Now earlier it was probably very difficult to do something like this, where each person is essentially being treated as part of a large mass. But today, as we'll see going forward, each one of us can be targeted differently. Each one of us has a different spending threshold. So how can each one of us then be taken to the maximum level that we can spend? Can we then therefore identify what these levels are and nudge people towards it? Now there are multiple intervention opportunities in this entire process. For non-customers, there is lead enrichment with data, lead nurturing, cold lead rewarming. For customers, when you have new customers onboarding, how do you push them to the next purchase? The existing customer base, how do you keep them active and push to the maximum level that they can spend at? And dormant customers, how do you remotivate them and persuade them to transact? And this is where technology can essentially play a role. So at each one of these stages, so whether it's lead quantification, and the same in the online world, the equivalent in the digital world can be in terms of when a person walks into a store, how can you figure out what that person is likely to do, or how can you persuade that person to do the right things? Lead nurturing and lead rewarming for the cold leads, and the customer onboarding process, the engagement process, and the reactivation process. And this is the new world that's opening up, which combines technology and marketing. We've seen many disruptions through the last 15-20 years of the internet, and I think finally we are really seeing marketing being transformed and the rise, therefore, of the chief marketing technologist. So if you look at the last 3 years and how things have changed, we are all familiar with many of these changes in our regular life. Essentially what's happening here is that the customer is changing. Whether we are paying bills, whether we are shopping and so on, watching TV, and watching videos, rather again on YouTube. And the change that's happening is the customer is now connected 24/7. The contacts are in hundreds, each individual. There's a digital identity, email ID, mobile number at a minimum. And that customer has, and this identity is persistent, it's across time. The customer is leaving data droplets everywhere. So there are these things that we can pick up, these clues that are there that we can pick up and piece together. Experience. The customer experience is becoming increasingly important as a distinguishing element in the service that we are giving. Customers expect to be treated differently. They are mobile first, and you can give feedback in real time, again as we heard from what Krishnan was saying. And therefore there are new expectations. How do you treat me as the customer, as unique, special? I want a 24/7 salesperson. You treat me different. How do you make this happen? I want things now. So instant information gratification and so on. Think of my lifetime value, track my purchases, give me loyalty points, surprise me with new offers, anticipate my needs. Amazon has been doing that in the US for a long time. How can you make this happen not just online but in real world, in stores around us? Again, we know some of these numbers out here, but this is really the change that's happening. With the number of people today, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, we never had a critical mass in India. And that is now there across the spectrum and with very high growth rates. And if you extrapolate some of these numbers ahead going forward to 2020, we'll have 600 plus million people with smartphones, better than what any of us are using today, on networks which are faster than what any of us are using. Each one with hundreds of social contacts, all connected, mobile wallets, real-time microtransactions. Incomes will double in the next 5 years, but the spend, the per capita spend that's going to happen will be 3x or higher. And that's why you're seeing some of the valuations being driven to very high levels in anticipation of what people are doing here. Email and a unique ID for every person, and a whole generation of people grown up with the internet and mobile as basically part of their lives. And sensors, smart machines all around us. So the Internet of Things comes to life. If you look at what this means for marketing trends, the shift is happening from MarCom, so to marketing or to experiences. That is, I think, again, we heard some of that in the previous talk. The silos that are there in media, how do those become converged? From outbound, just the push methods, to more inbound, the content marketing, etc. From creativity, the shift to data, using analytics and so on. There's a lot of data becoming available now. How do you leverage it? When I was at a media company the other day, there's a lot of info being collected. The question is, what can I do with the data? That is, I think, the big question which people haven't even started answering. But the ability to collect data today is there in ways by which previously it was just not possible. From a segmented view to a unified view of the customer. And many of these things, instead of just leaving to agencies, companies are also looking at how this can be moved in-house. Much of this happens through listening to the digital body language. You walk into a store, you can see the customer and so on. But again, these digital droplets are there, the digital body language, signals, across touch points, the engagement level, behavioral data, social listening, all of this is actually again leaving clues for us to pick up and analyze. Marketing's job really is to now create the option. If you look at the traditional marketing, and again what's changing from mass to mass customized, from a single transaction to a relationship, can I get the multiple purchases going? Can I get the multiple steps which are there, the upgrades which are being there happening? Instead of bucketing customers into segments, treating them individually or treating them as per the customer stage of purchase that they are in. From treating every campaign as new, to using CRM, to ensuring continuity across the customer journey. So whether it is about even companies which are, so really if you see, the segmentation becomes whether companies know their customers or not. So whether it's KYC or non-KYC. Today, traditionally, companies like banks, the telcos, online companies have had very good KYC because they are capturing all of this info. The shift which is happening is, and which is where 90-95% of the spend is today still happening in the real world. The malls, the multiplexes, the retailers who are there, today they also have the ability to collect information. The question is, can they start doing this? And we'll see some of the examples going forward. What can be done? By collecting that data, collecting that info, using the fact that the customer has a digital touch point, with a mobile, with an email, multiple things can therefore then be done. The quote by Ram Charan from his forthcoming book, Attacker's Advantage, very interesting, where the key point he makes is that looking back at the Industrial Revolution, you had artisans who would make things on their own and basically custom create for us. And then you had the mass world that came, mass media, mass marketing and so on. And now, as he says, in a manner of speaking, we are evolving back to that artisan model where a market segment comprises one individual. So essentially what we are talking about is a dedicated sales rep, and this cannot happen, of course, physically for every customer. And again, that's where technology comes in. So the premise of MarTech is mass customized marketing, creating the unified customer view, and we'll see how this can be done, automation and at scale. So personalization, automation, scale, omni-channel, so the customer again is interacting through multiple channels, as well as and leading to maximizing the revenue per customer. So again, if you take an example, we all go to watch movies. Maybe there are 2 or 3 multiplexes, at least a couple multiplexes near our house. So one of them gets X rupees, in terms of food and beverage and the tickets. But they have no idea at that point of time that there is spending happening somewhere else also. But if they knew when we are watching the movies, tickets to a large extent are being booked digitally, it's possible to track a person in a theater. Imagine a slide which comes up, it says, give a missed call now or SMS your email ID if you're watching this movie and get some loyalty points or special offers. So there's an ability to track the individual. So now suddenly you have 2x or 3x the opportunity space that is opening up, saying that this individual can actually come maybe 20 times a year rather than the 10 times that person is coming. So that is where by using data you can actually increase the opportunity space going forward and maximize revenue. The building blocks of MarTech, it starts with the unified view of the customer. So collecting data from all the points which are possible, so whether it's email, whether it's missed calls, whether it's cookies on the web, the token ID through the mobile apps and so on, capturing all of that, using that then to personalize and make the content relevant, and then being able to do predictive analytics so that you can actually look at, based on the aggregate needs, what the customer is likely to want next. And again, content marketing plays a big role out here. That's the sort of inbound marketing that you want to push, you want to send out. When to reach the customer, along with how to reach the customer. Again, multi-channel, and we'll see some of this going forward. So the 5 imperatives, if you're looking to get started using technology for augmenting the marketing process, I think the first step is collecting data at every touch point. Which are the touch points? I mean, you look at the ads which are running on the cricket matches right now for the World Cup. Huge spends are happening. There is no touch point, there is no interaction which is being built in other than in some cases a website link. You open ads in print magazines. Okay, we are still doing the same, probably a 1-800 number and a web URL, what was being done 5 or 10 years ago. When was the last time we gave a call to a 1-800 number? When is the last time we actually went and typed a URL? Now, how can this change? What if on the TV ads that were running, we told people, or the ads told, SMS your email ID right now for special offers. They get an opt-in, they get a mobile number, they get an email ID right away. They know which, by the time coming in, they know which points the response came in. If the ads are running across multiple channels, you will know which channel the response was in, or which print ad got the response. So easy to do a lot of these things today. People want stuff, special offers, discounts, etc., and you get data in return. And that then becomes the starting point. So the ability to collect data at every touch point, I think, is very, very important. And then you start, as you collect this, building a unified view of the customer. These are the 2 starting points. After that, then your communication can be customized going forward. Communications can be done through multiple channels. So email, on mobile itself, the email itself is a mobile channel to a large extent now. There is SMS, there is USSD, there is outbound voice calls, in-app notifications. All of these can be done. You can automate this communication, so you can send out an in-app notification if there is no response, and you can send out an email, no response, and an SMS, no response, you can do a missed call and so on. And then the ability to predict the next actions based on analytics. So what we'll see going forward increasingly is the CMO and the CTO the functions merging together into, you can think of it as a chief marketing technologist. And that's the opportunity for a lot of people in this space, the ability to combine marketing plus technology insights going forward. And if you look at the new world of the CMT, by the way, I'll have a copy of this presentation available at the end, and I'll tell you how to get it. A world of digital and data, as we saw, is changing the customer. So one side is how the customer is changing on the marketing side, and the other side, how is technology coming at the center, at the heart of what the new marketing is all about. If you're going back Monday morning or tomorrow morning agenda or next morning, mobile number and email ID, so collecting data at every customer touch point, what we talked about. Do this is very easy to get started. Think about all the ways the customer is interacting with your brands, with your business, and how do you collect, even if the person is coming to a website, can you have a pop-up where you collect the email ID and mobile number? Ideally, you can ask them to SMS their email ID if you're in a physical store. Okay, so when people are typing their email ID, they will not typically make mistakes, rather than getting it on forms. Then link it up with the cookie token ID, possibly Facebook ID, Twitter ID, in banks, telcos, where you can get voter ID or Aadhaar number, all of this. So you get an integrated, all the digital identity of a person is captured, and that helps you start creating the unified view of the customer. And this then can let you, the next step of how you do the communication. So essentially you can think of this as mission 10x. Every business has customers. How do you increase from those same customers, and also of course the leads that come in, how do you increase the opportunity space going forward? In every business, if you see, there's a lot of leakage which happens at every stage. Maybe half the people who walk into the physical world stores don't buy anything. Now the challenge is, you have no idea that even people have walked in and walked out. You've not collected any data. If you knew who they were, can you target them? Or you have the same problem of trying to reach them again, and you're spending the same amount of money getting back to them. So the new leads, how do you nurture them better? The forgotten leads, the cold ones, how do you dig them out and target them? The new customers, the first time buyers, how do you ensure that the first interaction is good, the onboarding process is good, okay, so that they can get to the second purchase and then become repeat customers. The existing customers, how do you convert them into the maximum threshold that's possible for that particular individual? So rather than treating each one or even as segments, each one has a different threshold. How do you ensure that? And the dormant customers, again, many companies have people who've just not interacted. How do you wake them up again? So now if you start thinking, what happens in a MarTech world? I walk into a store. So let's take an example. Now I walk into Crossword. You can think through all of these examples. I walk into a Crossword today, bookshop. They have no idea I have walked in. Now imagine right at the entrance, there was a standee or a placard which said, give us a missed call, or SMS your email ID and get special offers now. Many of us have loyalty programs with Crossword or a Big Bazaar or any of these physical world shops. Now you can actually send an SMS or an email within seconds, customized, the person is in the store, so first you know that the individual has come in. You can now say that, look, if you buy, or did you know that there were specials on these 5 items or 10 items? Okay, again, linked back or from the purchase history that they had. When you pay the money, Amazon again does this online. It will show you that you bought these books, would you also like to buy these other books? Can that be done in the physical world? But when the person pays the money, again, link it with a loyalty program with the mobile number, and many shops, etc., chains have started doing this. But the next steps or the first steps are not happening. You can now send me an offer right there and then, which says if you buy one of these 3 items in the next 15 minutes, 20 minutes, there's an extra 5% or 10% off. I'm in the store, you know what I've bought, you know my purchase history. How can you get more from there? And then as you go forward, I'm happy with the product. How do you encourage me to share that experience online? I watch a TV ad like we spoke earlier. Look at the TV ads which are there. How many of them have a call to action? Now, people are watching these ads repeatedly. They may miss the number the first time, but on a typical match, you'll watch it at least 5 times or 10 times. And go beyond just a missed call. Get it to an email ID. The cost of communicating over email is a fraction of that of an SMS. You can do richer communication. Thanks to Android, you have now 250, 300 million people, or you will have very soon, with email IDs. Today, pretty much everyone online has got an email ID, and these numbers are going up. Email is a very effective form of communication going forth. You can have rich content, which you can't typically do in an SMS. And these are all push-based, so you're not waiting for an action to be done by a user. So if you look at the key takeaways, I think there are, number one, there are big inefficiencies which are there across the chain, across the marketing process. Technology allows us now to bridge some of those inefficiencies, increase our own opportunity spaces by a magnitude going forward. Changing, and this is happening because the customer is changing. Again, last 3 years, like we saw, look at the changes in our own lives. New technology, of course, is helping, the change is happening where the customer is getting digital and the data is coming in. And what you can do here is be able to combine automation, personalization, and scale. And this is the core promise of marketing technology going forward. And winning, how I've put the definition is, winning here means getting the highest number of maximum revenue customers. So going forth, figuring out who can spend how much, and how do you then target them differently. A few years ago, it was very difficult to do the one-to-one. Now, in the next few years, it's going to become increasingly possible, and that's the promise of MarTech. So, this is a simple example of what can be done and what MarTech can do. And you also get the presentation. So this is sort of the flows that can be defined. If you SMS right now, demo2, space your email ID to 99020999020, you'll get an email back. You'll get an SMS, it says here, you'll get an SMS and an email. If you don't, then we wait for 2 minutes. If the email is opened, you'll get a second email back. If the email is not opened, you will get an SMS. Again, completely automated. Of course, we are not doing the push notification right now. We don't have an app here. You'll get a second SMS reminding you to open the email. And the first email that you get will have a link from where you can get the presentation. Again, simple example, you automate these things, so your onboarding process, etc., all of this becomes easier. You can have multiple sort of tree structures, no more sitting, picking up lists and trying to do segments and so on. This is the future of, I think, where we are going to see marketing go forth. But it starts by collecting data. So convert all the non-KYC customers that you have into KYC. And doesn't matter even if you are selling through intermediaries, I think today's customer will want to do you will want to build the end customer relationship directly. So we'll take questions. We've got a few minutes. Comments, feedback. And try this out. Yes. So I think two things are there. One is that if you're doing, for example, if they're coming to a website, see, most of the times if you see today the way the websites are built, people will come in, browse little, unless they actually explicitly go to fill up a form, okay, you're not capturing the data. And my guess is probably 1 in 10 is actually, or less, is filling up a form. Events that you're doing, again, how do you capture data? So this is one example, a simple thing like this, where there is a reward at the end of giving some info, can help in collecting info at scale. So I'm not going around trying to collect sort of business cards. I'm just telling you the customer is actually, or the potential lead is doing the work. Third is then you get into the sort of lead nurturing. So how can you send out once you get these 2 or 3 methods where your touch points are already there, if you can collect the email ID, you can then start a program of maybe 3 or 4 emails in the first 4 days. And then decide what actions to be done based on, or what you will do based on the actions that the customer is doing. Again, all of those things can also be automated. So that's the part of lead nurturing, even before a salesperson perhaps gives a call. So simple ideas, but if you actually see, very little of this is happening today. I mean, we are still sort of thinking that we are operating in a world where our belief is that the other person who's watching that ad or who's interacting with us does not have a digital identity. And now there are two identities which are there, and the ability to connect these two becomes very useful. The mobile number and the email ID. In fact, the BJP membership campaign that is happening today is actually doing some of this. What they are doing is, it's a missed call. You must have seen the ads around. Okay, there are now 55 million members. So the idea in BJP is that if you have voters, no one's tried to build a repeat relationship with them. So after 4 years and 9 months, then they wake up and then you have a large spend at the end. What if you had a more continuing relationship with people? So you give a call, you'll get two SMSs back in English and a local language with a membership number. If you're giving a call the second time, you'll get one of the messages with your membership number, which is a unique number linked with the mobile number. And that number, that message will actually ask you to SMS back your name, address, email ID, voter ID, and PIN code to a short code. And from there, when those come in, the three pieces of info which can be automatically extracted out are extracted out. So email ID, the PIN code that is there, and the voter ID. From the voter ID, you can actually map name, gender, polling booths, and so on, which can then be given to the people at the ground level. And then, of course, future engagement. Any other questions? How much time do we have? It's over? Okay. So I'll be here around. If you have to take questions, we can take questions. Yes.
Are there ethical issues concerned with that? Any legal issues with that? If you are utilizing data, you are smartly gathering data and utilizing for your marketing plan.
But you're doing it for the people are giving the data to you voluntarily.
But in most cases, they may not be aware of the data that.
So you give them the ability to opt out. See, I think if the data is used well, if you're not sharing it out with others, I think, like I see my wife, for example, she would actually like to get a lot more custom offers. We are all willing, and as long as the info doesn't spam us, gives us the ability to opt out. So it's a self-correcting mechanism in that case. Thanks.